English humor unlocked, sarcasm, irony, and puns. Introduction. Have you ever heard someone say something that made you smile, but you weren't sure why it was funny? Maybe they said something a little sharp, or something happened that was the opposite of what you thought would happen. If you ever felt confused by English jokes or clever sayings, you are not alone. English humor can seem like a secret code, and this book will help you understand it. English humor is not always about loud jokes or funny faces. Often, it is part of everyday talking. It can be a clever use of words or a small hint that you might miss if you don't know how it works. It is tied to how English speakers talk, their culture, and how they see the world. This mix of language and cleverness is called English humor. It is more than just telling jokes. It is a way to share ideas, thoughts, and even opinions in a way that makes people smile or laugh, not frown. To understand English humor is to understand a big part of the English language and the people who speak it. To really understand English humor, we need to look at some important tools. Think of them as keys that open up the humor. We will look at three main ones: sarcasm, irony, and puns. Sarcasm is when someone says the opposite of what they truly mean, often in a playful or critical way. For example, if it is raining very hard and someone says, "What beautiful weather we're having," they probably do not think the weather is beautiful. Irony is a little different. It is when there is a surprising twist, where what really happens is the opposite of what you expect. A good example is a fire station burning down. You expect a fire station to be safe from fires, so it being destroyed by fire is ironic. Then there are puns, which are word games. They use words that sound the same, but have different meanings, or one word with many meanings, to be funny. The joke, "Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything," is a good example of a pun. This book is a friendly guide to understanding these clever ways of using language. We will show you how sarcasm, irony, and puns work, why they are popular in English, and how to find them. By learning to see and enjoy these types of humor, you will understand the English language much better. You will start laughing with people who speak English when you watch movies, read books, or listen to conversations. It is not just about understanding the joke. It is about feeling more connected to the culture and talking better. You will feel more confident in your English and find more joy in the language. In the next chapters, we will look closely at each of these humor types. We will start with easy examples and move to more difficult ones. We will explain the small details, give many real examples, and give you the tools to find and even use these funny ways of talking. Our goal is to make English humor easy to understand and fun for everyone. So get ready to listen carefully, open your mind, and start a fun trip to truly unlock the secrets of English humor. Let's start. 1. Understanding English humor. English humor is like a secret code. When you learn it, you can join in. It's not just about jokes that make you laugh loud. It's a special way of using words that helps English speakers connect, understand each other better, and see things in a funnier way. Think of it as a key that helps you understand the English language and the people who speak it more deeply. English humor is very much a part of English culture. It's in everyday talks, movies, books, and how people react to things. It's not always loud and clear. Often, it's quiet, smart, and needs people to know what's going on. This is why, for someone learning English, it can sometimes feel a bit confusing. What someone says might not be exactly what they mean, and that's where the fun and sometimes the confusion starts. Imagine a new student, Anya, who has just come to London. She is smart and wants to learn. One cold afternoon, her new roommate, Liam, gives her a cup of tea. Anya, feeling a little cold, says, "It's quite warm in here, isn't it?" Liam, looking at the cold window, and Anya's goosebumps, smiles, and says, "Oh, it's boiling, Anya. We wouldn't want you to get too hot." Anya blinks, confused. It is clearly not boiling, and she is still cold. She says thank you, wondering if she missed something. This small moment shows a common challenge. Liam wasn't being unkind. He was using a common type of English humor. He said the opposite of what was true to gently point out that it was cold. Anya, taking his words literally, did not get the joke. This is a perfect example of how English humor often plays with the difference between what is said and what is truly meant. It's not about being dishonest. It's about being clever. The humor comes from the contrast, the unexpected change in meaning. In Anya's case, Liam expected her to know that his words were a playful joke, a way to talk about the cold in a lighthearted way. But Anya was still learning and focused on the exact meaning of boiling. So, why is English humor often seen as hard for people learning the language? A big reason is that it depends a lot on context. This means you need to know not just the words, but also who is speaking, who they are speaking to, where they are, and what just happened. English speakers often use humor to show their feelings or ideas without being too direct. They might make a quiet, simple comment to show they find something funny, or a slightly bigger statement to make a point about a situation. This quiet way of speaking can be hard to notice if you don't know the culture or what's happening in the conversation. Think about how often the way something is said is more important than the words themselves. In English humor, the sound of the voice, a small smile, a raised eyebrow, or even a pause can completely change what a sentence means. If Liam had said, "It's quite warm in here, isn't it?" with a sigh and a shiver, Anya might have understood his sarcasm more easily. But because he said it in a happy voice, it made it more complicated. This use of body language and voice tone means that even when you understand every word, you might still miss the humor. It's like watching a play where you can read the words, but don't see the actors' faces. English humor often uses understatement too. This is when someone says something is less important or serious than it really is, and the humor comes from the listener knowing the truth. For example, if a big storm causes a lot of damage, an English person might say, "Well, that was a bit of a breeze, wasn't it?" The humor is in the big difference between the simple statement "a bit of a breeze" and the real, bad event. The speaker isn't trying to make light of the damage in a hurtful way. They are using humor to talk about the big event in a typical English, quiet way. This kind of humor needs the listener to know what happened and to understand that the speaker is deliberately making it sound less important for fun. This is where we begin to see what makes English humor so special. It's built on playing with meaning. The most common and strong ways English speakers do this are through sarcasm, irony, and puns. We already talked about how Liam's comment was a type of sarcasm, saying the opposite of what you mean, often to be funny or a little critical. Irony, however, is a bigger idea where there's a difference between what you expect to happen and what actually happens, or between what is said and what you truly feel. Well, puns are fun word games that make us think by using words with two meanings or words that sound alike. These three, sarcasm, irony, and puns, are not just random jokes. They are smart ways of talking, of adding layers to conversations, and of showing wit. They are the threads that make up English humor, making it rich, complex, and, yes, sometimes a little hard to understand for new people. But don't worry. By learning these ways, you will start to see the cleverness and warmth behind them. You will start to feel less like Anya, confused by Liam's comment, and more like someone who is part of the group, enjoying the subtle art of English conversation. Let's think about another situation that might happen when you are new to English humor. Imagine you are at a lively party and someone tells a joke that uses wordplay. If you don't know how puns work, you might just hear the words and miss the cleverness. For example, someone might say, "Why did the bicycle fall over?" "Because it was too tired." If you are not expecting wordplay, you might just think, "Bicycles don't get tired." You wouldn't connect "too tired" with the sound of "too tired" and the double meaning that makes it funny. This is where the question of how something is said becoming more important than the literal meaning really comes into play. In the bicycle joke, the humor isn't in whether bicycles get tired. It's in the unexpected link between two different ideas that sound the same. The speaker is hoping you can hear the similarity between too tired meaning the two wheels of a bicycle and too tired meaning very tired. The humor is in the surprise of that connection. This is exactly why understanding English humor is so important for truly appreciating the language. It's not just about words and grammar. It's about understanding cultural details and the fun ways words can be used. When you start to notice these patterns, you open up a whole new level of understanding. You begin to see why certain phrases are used, why people react in certain ways, and how humor can be used to build friendships, to gently point out mistakes, or simply to make a moment happier. The difficulty for learners often comes from the fact that English humor often relies on shared knowledge and cultural references. A joke that makes perfect sense to someone who grew up watching British comedy shows might not be funny at all if you have never seen them. This is not a problem with the humor itself, but rather a sign of how deeply it is connected to a specific culture. It's like trying to understand a private joke between two friends. You might hear the words, but you don't know the shared history that makes it funny. However, the beauty of English humor and why it's so rewarding to learn is that its basic parts, sarcasm, irony, and puns, are actually quite logical once you understand the rules. They are not random. They are planned uses of language to create an effect. Sarcasm is about saying the opposite of what you mean. Irony is about a difference between what you expect and what happens. Puns are about playing with the many meanings of words. These are understandable ideas, and the more you practice recognizing them, the more natural they will become. Think of it as learning to read between the lines. When an English speaker makes a quiet comment, they are asking you to guess their real meaning. When they use irony, they are pointing out the unexpected turns of life. When they tell a pun, they are celebrating how clever language can be. All of these things, when understood, can make conversations feel richer, more interesting, and, of course, funnier. For Anya, the first confusion with Liam's comment about the tea was a small problem. But if she had known that Liam might be using sarcasm, she could have looked for signs like his smile or the fact that it was cold. She could have then replied, perhaps with a smile, "Yes, it's so warm, I might need to put on another sweater." This kind of answer shows she understands the humor and can join in. It's a conversation, not just a misunderstanding. This ability to understand English humor is more than just about laughing at jokes. It's about becoming a more confident and effective speaker of English. It's about feeling more connected to English-speaking culture and understanding the subtle ways people express themselves. It's about realizing that humor is a powerful tool, and mastering it in English can truly help you appreciate that language and its people more deeply. Now that we have seen that English humor is a complex art that is closely linked to culture and context, we can start to look at its most common and powerful tools. We will begin by exploring one of the most common and often misunderstood types, sarcasm. Conclusion. We have finished our trip through English jokes and funny talk. We learned what makes people laugh. We saw how sarcasm, irony, and word games are used. These are not just for jokes. They help us understand how English speakers talk and think. Knowing these funny ways helps you know the English language better and the people who speak it. Sarcasm is when you say the opposite of what you mean. It's a nice way to tease someone or make a point. Understanding this indirect way of speaking is important for English chats. Irony is when things are not as you expect them to be. It's when what is said is different from what is meant. This makes talking more interesting. Word games, called puns, are fun. They use words that sound the same, but mean different things. They make us smile or groan. These three things, sarcasm, irony, and puns, are key parts of English humor. They show a special way of thinking in English-speaking places. English humor is like a window to see the English-speaking world. Sarcasm can show that people like to say less or disagree nicely. Irony can show that people understand that life can be strange. Puns show how fun words can be. When you see and get these jokes, you start to see how English speakers talk to each other. It's like having a secret code to understand conversations. This helps you feel more a part of things. It helps you understand what others think and feel. This makes talking better and helps you like the culture more. Now you know about sarcasm, irony, and puns. The real fun starts now. Keep watching and listening. Watch shows in English with new ears. Listen closely when people talk. Don't be shy to ask if you don't get a joke. The more you hear real English humor, the easier it will be. Remember that not everyone laughs at the same thing. That's okay. The main thing is to understand and connect. So, we are ending this part. Remember that humor is a wonderful and strong part of English. It connects people. It helps share ideas. It brings joy. We hope this book helped you understand sarcasm, irony, and puns. We hope it made your experience with English richer and more fun. Keep listening, keep laughing, and keep learning.